Hello, friends. Welcome into the happiest group of gentlemen in a room of all time. It is TexAgs Rewind with the Fan Show, gentlemen, which is brought to you by Gerard Construction here in studio to talk about a great show. Great show?
Great show.
Always.
Negative show?
No, not negative. It's just honest. What's wrong with being honest?
It can be negative. There was a tweet that came for you. It was not nice.
Prove me wrong. 10-2. Let's do it.
We'll talk about that.
Run the table.
On the show today, we talked about Max Johnson versus Joe Milton. We asked you, who's the better quarterback based on what you've seen with your eyes and the numbers out there. Our QB1, Stephen McGee, joined us on a mobile. We talked to him. We went around college football with Aaron Torres. And these knuckleheads, does A&M win this weekend?
Absolutely.
No.
Just watch. You'll get real analysis coming in 3, 2, 1, go. Well, let's kind of break down the quarterback battle here because Joe Milton came into the season with a lot of love because of the way he finished last season. 63% passer, 9 touchdowns, 3 picks. All of his interceptions have been in SEC games, 139 efficiency there. Max Johnson, 60% passer, 7 touchdowns, 2 picks, 151 efficiency. You see a bunch of the numbers right there. I was told that Milton's not a runner, but he's got 139 yards this year, 13-3 there in the touchdown, the interception range. Here is where I am intrigued, Olin Buchanan.
All right, let me hear it.
Down the field passing. Tennessee, that was their bread and butter last year with Hendon Hooker, right? Mm-hmm. He did a lot right, not just that.
Yeah, I mean, he was really good.
Tennessee struggles with passes over 20 yards or more. He has connected on 8 of 30, 26%.
That's not 8 of 30? On 20 yards or more?
Yep, 8 of 30, 26. This is according to Eric Kane, who works at On3 Tennessee. Okay. VolQuest.com, 26.7%.
Is that really that bad? If you're throwing it 20 yards downfield?
Doesn't sound good.
1 out of 4?
316 yards, 3 touchdowns only, and all 3 picks have come with 20 yards or more.
Well, you're more likely to throw a pick on a long pass.
Here's Max numbers on 20 yards or more. 14 attempts, 7 completions, 50%, so not as much. 199 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Pro Football Focus gives him a grade of 96.6, which is fantastic at 20 or more. Okay. Max on 10 of 19, 7 of 13, 53.8%, 109 yards, touchdown, and 1 touchdown. Where does Max struggle in these numbers is on close to the line of scrimmage. All right. And struggle's relative. He had that 1 interception that we all remember, the pick 6. So how do they make life easier for Max in his decision-making?
So I think timely screen plays, right? So if you call a screen pass on 3rd and long, they're anticipating that. They're not going to be effective. But a screen pass on 1st down, 2nd down, when you're getting pressure looks, that's an easy way to get chunk yardage versus pressure. Then we talk about the quick game, those 3-step those 3-step timing passes where the ball is just catch and throw with a lot of really good answers built in there. And then you've got to be able to run the football. I mean, that's the easy one. But again, it's been a little bit hit or miss, but you've got some really capable runners. And so you've got to mix up looks in the run game as well. So I think screen passes, quick game, and being able to run the football help Max a lot. And then I think when you do take your shots, you've got to be smart with the football. You can't force it, and you can't sit in the pocket forever. You got to trust your feet. You get 2 hitches, and then the ball's got to come out. So it's not always on the offensive line either. It's quarterbacks trusting their feet and saying, hey, you know what? I really wanted to take this post route here, first quarters, but it just didn't happen on time. I'm going to check down my back. Coach, call it again.
Talking to Stephen McGee here on TexAgs Radio. What are you seeing from the line, man? Because Bama definitely got a little more creative in the second half. They changed their front a few times, but the line certainly struggled in that one. It's the worst they've looked.
Yeah, I think at times, though, the offensive line looks really, really good. I mean, you look at some of the big completions we had, and it's no coincidence that those are the plays where the offensive line had an incredible pocket. It looked like the Great Wall of China. But then at times, the big play late when Max took a sack, it was guys tripping over themselves. And then you had a bust up front. What looked to be the left tackle was a full slide, and a free rusher comes, and all of a sudden it's chaos. You have the interception, right? So I think that you have guys that are young, are putting into new positions that aren't fully on the same page yet. And the good news, though, I think for Aggie fans is to say, oh, there's not a void of talent. They have ability. They're big. They're physical. They have good feet.
Comes a de facto opportunity for A&M to get right back in the mix because then they would be able to, you know what I'm saying? So there's still so much to be played. Yeah. But that being said, A&M hasn't won on the road in forever. So what do they got to do this weekend?
Well, I mean, first of all, they got to stop the run because I think, and I know you guys, I'm sure, have dove into Tennessee all week. By the way, I don't know if dove in is a word.
Not a word.
You just have dove in. Not a word. Okay, good. Good start by me this morning. Yeah, I didn't work out today, and maybe my brain is not firing like it normally does at this time. But so, long story short, I think you got to stop the run because I think we think of Josh Heupel and what Tennessee was last year with Hendon Hooker, and I thought Hendon Hooker, should have been in New York for the Heisman Trophy celebration, and he was special last year. And obviously, I know A&M didn't see him last year, but we all watched on TV. This year, I think Josh Heupel knows he doesn't have Hendon Hooker, and they are a very good run team, and they're actually a better defensive team than people think. And so, as weird as it sounds, coming off a week where Jalen Milroe had a breakout game against Texas A&M secondary, I think you got to take away the run and make Joe Milton prove that he can make the throws, that he has not been able to make through the early part of his career. So it'll be an interesting matchup, and I think for people who haven't seen a ton of Tennessee and they haven't had a ton of super high-profile games outside of that Florida game, they're good, they're ranked, they're in the top 25 as they should be, but they are a completely different team than the one we saw last year in terms of how they've had success so far.
Mr. Dawson, how are you feeling about the pass blocking? And for illustration again, Tennessee is number 2 in sacks.
Yeah, well, I don't know how good these offensive lines that they've played. I mean, a Frank Harris junior-less UTSA, a Tony Muskie-led Virginia, right? I mean, they're getting sacks, getting pressures on these guys. I think there's some adjustments that we can make there. I also think that Bobby Petrino is going to recognize, I really, if he's a good coach, which I know he is, he's going to recognize that he needs to get the ball out sooner. He's going to find ways to get rid of the ball faster. And also, too, a team like Bama, right, against Mississippi State, when they were struggling pass blocking, right, you know what they said? We're not going to throw the ball. You know why? Because we can run the ball against a team like Mississippi State. I think we might be able to run the ball against Tennessee. Florida gashed them a lot, right? So hopefully, best case scenario, we're running the ball a ton. We don't even have to. We're not getting in third and long situations where you're having deep back trap.
The only issue I have with that, which I love the idea, and I think Le'Veon's been a really nice running back for them. We haven't seen them really gash a team running yet.
Yes,
that is a concern because we haven't seen it, and this is midseason.
Exactly. So I'm really hoping that we make these adjustments, and I'm predicting that we do make adjustments in the pass blocking game. So I'm hoping for the best.
Okay, Ross?
So I think we won't be able to block them. I don't think we're going to run the ball. And I agree with my new young friend here. I'm hoping that our OC walked in the head coach's office and says, let me just do what I need to do.
Let me cook.
Let me cook. If you're going to hold me accountable, no problem. Let me use my cookbook for this game, and let's see if Max gets that ball out in about 1.4 seconds, and then your offensive line doesn't matter.
We all agree that this is the game, right? This is the
turning point.
We all agree?
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately,
and,
yes.
And by the way, if you win, it doesn't mean anything. And if you lose, all it means is you're not going to win 10 regular season games, right? Because teams can turn around. It just becomes harder and harder to believe. All right, we're going to close out the show, but these guys have already spoken. Leanna Davison at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center will tell the people what to do. Tell them, Leanna.
Like, comment, subscribe, and let's beat the hell out of Tennessee this weekend.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks for watching The Rewind. Tell the people bye.
See ya.
See ya.
Yeah,